Let's talk about how I stumbled into this Heroclix collection that was worth about $1,000 after I priced it out, and what you can do to find crazy collections like this too. This isn't even all of them. If I had to sum up how I did it in just one phrase, it was being consistent. You see, I love going to thrift stores because this giant Nerf and toy collection just didn't happen overnight. It happens over a long period of time, and when I was hunting and thrifting Nerf blasters, there are just a ton of toys, a ton of collectibles that also just get left at the thrift store. Now, granted, at a thrift store there are toys of all shapes and sizes, and many of them, I would say probably most of them, aren't worth your time unless you're a dedicated collector to certain things. But every once in a while, you'll come across something like these Heroclix here, and just know that there's something to it. But before I get into the story and tell you how long it took me to price all these out, let's talk a little bit about these Heroclix. Heroclix is a turn-based tabletop board game. My very first taste of them is when I initially played City of Heroes on the PC, a long time ago. And the collector's edition of the City of Heroes did come with a Heroclix version of Statesman. And for those who haven't played City of Heroes, Statesman is basically like the Superman or the Captain America of that universe. Also, if you haven't played City of Heroes, you can play it completely for free. I'll leave a link in the description below because it's like officially sanctioned by the company that made it. It's like a super cool side story. But anyway, you set up these characters on a tabletop and just take turns battling. And it gets its name from these little numbers down here that you can click into place, and it does certain things according to the rules of the game. I don't dare talk about it any deeper than that because there are so many other great videos that discuss this in a lot better detail. But what I do know is I know a good collection when I see one. So when I found just bags and bags and bags of these, I had to investigate a little bit further, and wouldn't you know, I could immediately identify they were Heroclix. All said and done, there were 9 bags total, just filled to the brim, and you will not believe how much each bag was. $3. That's it. So I figured $27, I was bound to recoup that investment just in the collection alone, and when I counted them and got them back home, it was pretty impressive just how good of a bet that was. And there were over 650 Heroclix split amongst 9 bags. For instance, this guy right here, Hush from Batman, he alone was worth the price of admission. And the impressive thing is that they came with their stats cards along with them too. Now, I didn't spot check every single last one of them, but it does feel like there's a pretty hefty stack of at least 500 cards, I would say. The cards do give a rundown of the powers of the character itself, and then on the back it gives you a synopsis of the character, their real name, any sort of significance in the comic books, and background information. So it's not super comprehensive information, but just enough to need to know how to play the game in front of you. And one of the standout figures that, as I was going through them, of course, was Toyman. I have a certain affinity for people who love and collect toys. And I'm not sure how this works in the game, but he does come with these like extra toys on the side that I'm guessing have some kind of gameplay significance. Important to note that when you do see something like this that catches your eye at Goodwill, that you have to jump on it and you have to act quickly. So grab a cart, grab a basket, and just kind of put it in your vicinity. That way nobody else can come in and swoop and take it from you. Especially if you're a collector, there are other people that know what they're doing within these thrift stores. They will also spot the stuff that's worth something or super collectible, or that would be a great addition to their own collection. It comes down to being persistent. I've been going to thrift stores for years and years and years, and I have never found something this comprehensive, this expansive, just sitting on the pegs at a Goodwill thrift store. So if you're expecting to have some success overnight, you need to go for, a while, years even, before you start to find these really interesting collections. So as I mentioned before, that I brought all of these home, I started counting them. There were over 650 of them. It's just an insane collection. And I wanted to kind of get an idea of just how much I could price these out for, and that actually proved to be a little more difficult than I initially anticipated. My initial plan was just to go to the sold listings on eBay and see what was selling. The trouble came in that not every figure was listed, or if they were listed, they weren't just a traditional auction. It was somebody setting up a store and that they had a quantity that somebody could purchase individually. So there were some areas where I just kind of had to estimate a little bit. But I was really encouraged to know that even on the low end, a lot of these figures are just about $1 a piece. And then just doing the simple math in my head, knowing that, well, that $27 investment definitely made sense here to check out a Heroclix collection. But I was really surprised when some of the heavy hitters like the Hush that I showed earlier, some of the larger figures like Ragnarok Surtur from Thor were really expensive figures. And posting a short video about this, I got some input from the Heroclix community saying that I should really be on the lookout for ones that are out of print, or I think they called them legends or something like that. But because I'm very much a novice with this Heroclix stuff, I just kind of picked apart some of the stuff that I thought looked cool, and it didn't always necessarily translate into a dollar value. But if you've been following along for any length of time, you know that that's not my primary goal. I just like to collect stuff that I like. Process of pricing them out took days, literal days, and I employed some help to actually go through and catalog these because it had to be somewhat systematic to make sure that all the doubles got counted similarly and that all the numbering systems and identification markers were what I was going to be looking up. I want to say in total it took about 3 days to go through this collection, catalog it, then price it out. It was a process for sure, and something that I haven't even done for my Nerf collection. But all said and done, when the dust settled, based on some estimation, based on some hard data from eBay, comes in at about $1,065. And when I remove the $27 that I spent on it, I think that was a decent purchase for this collection. If you think it's crazy that people just kind of get rid of this stuff, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to join the Ri-Fi community and help this channel grow so we can talk about more toys, Nerf blasters, collectibles, Heroclix even, I've got a lot of them now, be sure to follow along or subscribe wherever you are. That about does it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.